the name of Allah, the entirely merciful, the especially merciful. May peace, mercy, and blessings of Allah the Almighty be upon all of you. I am Umar bin Abid and you are watching Umar Linguistics. So today we are going to discuss the transcription of consonants, and it is the second lecture of chapter 2, Phonology and Phonetic Transcription. We have already completed chapter 1 and you can watch those videos as well. So this video is in English, so throughout this video I'll speak in English, and if you want to watch this lecture in Urdu, or you can say in Hindi, so I have given the link in the description below. So this is going to be a very comprehensive lecture about the transcription of consonants. So if we want to find the consonants that are contrastive in a language, so we can find a set of words that rhyme with each other, and for this we have a technical term in phonetics and phonology which we call minimal set. So actually a minimal set is a set of words in which each word differs from the other sound just by the difference of one sound. Let me give you an example like pit, lit, sit, wit. So you can say or in all these words only one sound is different, and but they are perfectly rhyming with each other. If we have only two words, we call them a minimal pair, but when we have more than two words, so we call them a minimal set. Now look at all these words which rhyme with pi. There are a lot of words that rhyme with pi, and I am going to show you the table from the book which actually we are following a course in phonetics. If you go to the book at page number 38, you will find that table 2.1, and in the second column we have all words that rhyme with pi, and which is actually a complete minimal set, like pi, tai, kai, bai, dai, gai, mai, nai, phi, y, thai, thy, psi, shai, lai, rai, hai, jai, and jai. We may say that these words spy, try, spry, they also rhyme with pi. They seem to be rhyme with pi, but actually they begin with the sequence of two or more sounds that are already in the minimal set. Because when we discussed that minimal set, when we looked at that minimal set, so yeah, pi, kai, psi, rai, shai, try, so not tie. So in this word we have two sounds at the beginning. In this word we have three sounds at the beginning, and in this word we have two sounds at the beginning. Although they can rhyme with pi, they are rhyming with pi, but there are two sounds, they have two or more sounds that are actually appearing in the minimal set already. However, the words like psi, thy, and shai, they can rhyme with pi, despite the fact that they are also starting with two letters. But they are starting with two letters, but they are not sound like two letters. They are sounding just like one letter, so they can perfectly like rhyme with pi. So psi, thy, and shai. Then we may have words which do not rhyme with pi, but which can rhyme with p, and we can have a large set of consonant that beginning words rhyming with p, and if we allow using the names of the letters as well, in other words, if we use all these alphabets and by their name, so we can see that they rhyme with p. If we say b, d, p, g, so in this way a large set can rhyme with p. Once again, just look at the table. So in the third column we have he, t, ki, b, d, me, ni, fi, we, the, si, the, she, li, ye, he, chi, g. Just notice this word z. For British English speakers, this letter should not be considered in this minimal set, and the reason is that British speaker actually pronounce it like z. They do not pronounce it like z, unlike American English speakers. So American English speakers, they pronounce it like z. However, if we look up in the dictionary of Oxford Advanced Learner Dictionary, in North American English, Z is also the pronunciation, but especially US, when it is written in the dictionary, so it means usually they pronounce it like Z. So therefore, it is the different. But British English speaker pronounce it like Z. So for them, it cannot rhyme with this sound cannot fall in this minimal set, but it can fall in the set like bed, bed, z, bed, z. So these were some consonants which rhyme with each other just by the difference of sound in the beginning, but there are consonants which cannot rhyme in this way. And these are like the letter sequence N and G, and it represents a single sound and it does not occur at the beginning of the words. For example, this sound comes in the word rang, at the end of the word rang, and actually it has symbol like this, rang, and it rhymes with other nasals which come at the end of words like ram, ran. So such consonants, there are some consonants which contrast with each other just at the end but not in the beginning, and the reason is that this sound cannot come in the beginning of the words in English. But we must notice that the vowel in the word rang, it is usually different in most of the English varieties. The vowel which is coming before this sound, ng sound, rang, and we'll discuss this in the incoming lectures or in the incoming chapters. Just to give you one difference, usually sometimes when a vowel is followed by a nasal consonant, so usually that vowel also adopt the nasalization, and instead of saying like rang, people sometimes in some varieties people say like rang, rang. They also nasalized the vowels as well. Now there are some consonant which do not differ with each other. There are some sets which do not differ with each other at the beginning or at the end but in the middle, and some consonant sounds like these are mission and vision, but such type of pairs are only a few in English, and even in you can see that there are actually the difference of not only one sound but two sound. In mission, in the beginning we have m, in vision we have v in the beginning, but however they can rhyme with each other and they are different from each other just by the middling consonant. Mission in sh, and in vision we have j. And there is one more example for some speaker, which is allusion and allusion. So there are some a chain of island which are known as the allusion island. So for this word can perfectly rhyme with this word which is allusion, and they only differ with each other just by the middling consonant. Let's look at the table again for the words which are contrasting with each other in the middle or at the end. So in the same table, in the fourth column, here we have these nasals, and here we have these listen, mission, vision, which are differing in the set in which the consonants differ just in the middle, but you can say they also differ at the beginning as well. So if you want to listen all these sets, so for this you can go to the website which accompanies this book, which is known as A Course in Phonetics. If you write this, so you will find this website. If you click on this, click on the chapter 2, click on the example 2.1. now here if you click on any one of the column, like so, so it actually starts playing. And now if you click on the third column, so it will start playing, and similarly the fourth column as well. Now we are going to discuss symbols for consonant sounds and how they are devised, how they are made, how they are divided. So there are some symbols which are just similar to alphabets, which we use in spellings, like b, d, f, h, k, l, m, n, p, r. Although in IPA r is used in this way, but some books use in this way as well. S, t, v, w, and z. So these are all the symbols or the symbols used for consonants, which are actually the alphabets as well. However, there are some symbols which differ in spelling and phonetic usage. In other words, we have different spellings, but sounds are not like that, like these spellings. And one difference between spelling and phonetic usage occur in the word letter C. Sometimes this C represent k sound. We very well know bacon and in cup. So in here C represent k sound. Sometimes the same spelling represents sounds. Like in cellar, we do not say keller, we say cellar. In receive, we say receive. Once again, it represents sometimes even when two C's occur uh, uh, together, so they represent a sequence of s or k sounds. For example, here we say accent, access, accent, accent, access. So when two C appears together, so they may represent a sequence like this: accent, access. And there is one more symbol which is not actually written in this way, but which is actually written in this way. Let me show you. Yes, or in this way. But usually when G is written in the, you can say, in typed form, it is written in this way. However, it differs in font. Usually we write on paper in this way, so therefore the symbols also differ. But however, the main reason is that for G is to be here, that sometimes it represents like g sound, guy, guess, but sometimes it represents j sound in age. Even the name for this letter is G. The name for this letter is G, which is unlike how it sounds in guess. It sounds G in guess, but its name is G. So, as the name G suggests, so it is actually representing here age, but not in guy or guess. Then we have some more symbols which we can call supplementary symbols, and these are the symbols to which we need to add to the regular alphabet to represent all the sounds, because in English we have only 26 alphabets, but there are a lot of sounds. So for each sound in IPA we have a different symbol. So International Phonetic Association was founded in 1886 by leading phoneticians from France, Germany, Britain and Denmark, and since then International Phonetic Association has devised symbols for many languages, as some new sounds appear in some languages, and they have divides some, you can say, nitty-gritties as well, which we actually discuss all these aspects in detail, or we discuss uh, this chart in detail from chapter 6 to chapter 10. Just to show you, this is the table International Phonetic Alphabet revised to 2015, and we shall discuss in this table in 5 chapters. Once again, coming back to the table, so in the first column you can see many symbols which are like this one, this one, this one, this one, this and this. So actually these are the supplement symbols, and now we shall discuss each symbol in detail one by one. So now we are going to look at all these supplementary symbols which we have just discussed. So now we shall look at each symbol in detail, and how it is written and how it is used in which words, and either it is voiceless or voiced, and some related issues. So first of all we have velar nasal, and we know that this sound does not come at the beginning of any word, but it comes only at the end, or sometimes in the middle as well. So it comes at the end of word rank, and it is written like this. So it is actually a letter N, where a letter N is combined with the tail of the letter G. Usually this G is written like this. Actually the shape of the symbol is this, not this. So the tail of the letter G is combined with the letter N. So for example we have letter N, and if we combine it with the tail of the G, so it will become like this. So this is how this symbol is written, and it descends below the line. So what does it mean? So if you recall your childhood, when you start writing, or when you start how to write, so we may write on the lines, or we sometime may have a notebook which have 4 lines. So we come to know that from in first 3 lines we have to write B, O is written between these 2 lines, G descends in the 4th line. So similarly, therefore we are saying that this symbol descends below the line, means that it will like this. So all these letters which do not descend the 3rd line, they are actually called the ascend. We call them ascenders, and those letters or those symbols which descend below the 3rd line, we call them usually what you can say as descender. But usually we write on pages. When we write on pages, usually we have blank pages, or we have pages in which we have only one liner pages. So it also means that some people call this symbol ang, and others pronounce it as angma. The next is voiceless dental fricative. So this symbol is an upright version of Greek letter, and we call it theta. We actually use it most of the times in mathematics, physics. So, and here in IPA we also use this symbol. It is voiceless dental fricative. For example, we pronounce it like when the tongue protrudes between the upper and the lower teeth. And this all about the manners of articulation and the places of articulation we have already discussed in the first chapter, so you can watch those lecture. So we can find this sound in the words, in the beginning of words like thigh, thin, thimble, s, in the second sound s, and the last sound breath, and the last sound of mouth. Similarly, this voiceless dental fricative has its counterpart, which is actually voiced dental fricative, and it is written like this. And this symbol is actually called S, and it is derived from the Anglo-Saxon letter. So even in the Old English, this symbol was also used just as an ordinary letter for spelling as well. But now it is only used as a consonant sound symbol, not as a letter. It is used for the corresponding voice sounds like thy, then, them, and breeze. As we have talked about, that its counterpart, which is voiceless, it is theta, and it is eth, which is the voice counterpart part of theta. And both these symbols, like this one and this one, both these symbols actually go up from the line of the writing rather than descending below it. So actually both of these symbols are called ascenders. As I have already given you example that in childhood we usually write on a page, we start writing on a page which has 4 lines, so we shall write these symbols in the above 3 lines, not descending below the 3rd line. So therefore these are called ascenders. The spelling system of English language does not distinguish between th and the. So we have same spellings for both of these sounds, but for some words the sound is this one, and for some words the sound is this one. Means th and the. So they are both written as th. For example, we have thigh. In this we have this sound in this word, and in this word we have this sound, thy and thigh. Similarly we have like them, then, and at the last sound of breeze. But breeze as a verb, but when we say it as a noun, e is not there and we call it breath. So the next sound we are going to look at is voiceless palato-alveolar sh, and it is written like this. And this is the symbol for voiceless palato-alveolar, or post-alveolar we can also call it, and it is written like this. And we can say that it is a long S, and usually it is present in like shy, sheep, at the end of rash. So this sound is both an ascender and a descender. So in other words, we can write it like this, or we can write it like this, or if we have one liner page we can write it like this, or sometimes we can write it like this. So it is both an ascender and a descender. It is like a long straight S going both above and below the line. So even we can write it like this, or I think it is better to write it like this. So therefore it is both an ascender and a descender. So we can say it is a long straightened S. And now we have counterpart of sh, which is y. It is the counterpart of sh, and it is voiced palato-alveolar fricative y. So this sound uh, is like a long Z or long Z descending below the lines. It only goes below the line. So usually we write Z like this. This sound occurs in the middle of words such as vision, measure, leisure, and sometimes at the beginning of foreign words. Not in English, it usually does not come at the beginning, but in some foreign words such as French, like yin, yandame, and then in some foreign words like ish, ye. So in some languages, this word comes at the beginning as well, but in English usually it appears in the middle. Then we have voiced alveolar approximant. So it is the sound usually come at the beginning of the word like rai, and it is an upside down version of r. So usually it is written like this in IPA, and therefore we call it an upside down version of r. And in English it does not matter so much that either we write it in an upside down version, or we write it in the simple way as we write the alphabet. But to be consistent with IPA, we prefer transcribing it like this. And the reason why in IPA we have this symbol like this, because in most of the world languages like Spanish, Finnish, Russian, Arabic, Persian, Thai, and some other languages as well, this R is pronounced as like trilled or rolled R, where when we pronounce this sound, so actually the tongue curls and touch at the alveolar ridge like r, 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 r. So therefore IPA use that symbol which is the most common variant. Therefore in IPA it is written like this. Then we have voiced palatal approximant, which is sometimes written as like written in this way and sometimes in this way, and there is also an issue when it is written like this and when it is written like this. So we have these two symbols, and sometimes when we have two symbols for the same sound, or we have two variants of the same symbol of the same sound, so it sometimes causes an issue, or sometimes we are confused as an introductory student of phonetics that which symbol is right or which symbol is wrong. And actually both symbols are actually right. These both symbols are actually right for the sound yeah. However, different books use this symbol, while there are some books which use this symbol. And what is the difference, we'll discuss it. However, as far as this book is concerned, which we are actually following a course in phonetics, which I have already told you in the first lecture, that it is one of the most authentic book on phonetics, and by one of the leading phoneticians, Peter Ledford. So here in this book, where we are concerned with only general phonetics, sorry. So there we use the IPA symbol J. In IPA we have both these symbols. So for general phonetics we shall use this symbol, which usually appear in the sounds of these words in the beginning of these sound, like yes, yet, yeast. However, IPA also has this symbol which is just like Y, but it also pronounced like J or a little bit different. We'll discuss it later. However, IPA uses this symbol as well, but this symbol is used for another sound, and usually this symbol is used in the vowel which is in the front word to, or I don't know how to pronounce this word, but this symbol is used in the French word as a vowel. And another reason is that yeah, in many languages, this sound in many languages like German, Dutch, Norwegian, Swedish, and others. This letter is used in words such as this one, yeah, and which are pronounced a sound in the English spelling system would be written with the letter Y. So the other reason is that why we are not using this symbol instead of this, that there are some languages like German, Dutch, Norwegian, Swedish, and others, and these languages have such words like J and A, and they are pronounced in such a way that for English we write them not with this sound but with this sound. So this is another reason why we shall not use this symbol at this time. However, those books, this is an important information, you must remember this, those books which are just on English phonetics or English phonology, they often use this symbol only, this symbol, and not this symbol, while here we are using this symbol. So for these two symbols, sh and y, which we have discussed already, and these are the palato-alveolar sound, this is the voiceless version and this is the voice version, and for them we have some other symbols like for sh and y, some books also use these symbols. So just to introduce you that there are some symbols which are used in some books, but the other books do not use these symbols. And for this, if we look at the table, so in the table it has been mentioned that alternative symbols that may be found in other books are given in parentheses. So keep in mind that thing. And the last column gives conventional names for the phonetic symbol. So here if we go further down, so for shaw we may use this symbol, and for ya we may use this symbol, and it is used in some books, and it is just what we have discussed just now, and we'll discuss other as well. So if we look at these two symbols now, these are very important, and there are some issues related to these two symbols. So the first and last sound both in church and judge are transcribed with the digraph symbols ch and j respectively. And actually these sounds are affricates, and these sounds are phonetically a sequence of a stop followed by a fricative. So actually there are, we have already discussed in chapter 1 that there are two manners of articulation involved in the production of these consonant sounds. That first there is a stop and then it is followed by a fricative. So therefore we call them affricates, because a digraph means, if you look up in the dictionary, digraph mean a sound which is the combination of or a symbol which is a combination of two sounds. So actually t is a stop and sh is a fricative, so it is the combination of these sounds. Similarly, d is a stop and this y is a fricative. So these two sounds are the combination of two sounds, a stop followed by a fricative. However, in English it seems that this is only a one sound. Ch is one sound, j is another sound, comparable in some ways to other stop consonants. So they are considered normally people do not know that these are actually the combination of two sounds. Usually we consider them two sounds, two individual sounds which are actually not the combination of two sounds. So for example, if we look at this word choose, which might be said to be begin with this sound ch, and if we compare a pronunciation of two phrases, white shoes and why choose. Here you can notice in white shoes the last sound in white is T and the first sound in shoes is actually start with sh. So similarly, if we look at this word why choose, in why choose uh, the sound t and sh also occur, but they occur at the beginning of this word, and the reason is that why we pronounce it white shoes and why choose. The difference between these two phrases is only of timing of articulations involved. In this phrase, uh, there is more abrupt fricative onset, and timing of the stop and fricative is more rigid. So onset, we'll discuss this later as well. Usually when we have consonants at the beginning of any word, we call them onset. So it has more rigid, the articulations involved is the articulation is involved in this word choose is very abrupt fricative followed by the affricate fricative sorry stop followed by the fricative. It is so abrupt that it seems that it is only the one sound. However, in this case, white shoes, the timing of the articulation is not so abrupt. So it clearly seems that these two sounds are separate sounds. Here it seems like this, but here it seems that these two are actually one sound, not two sounds. Also, there is another reason, and we can compare such version like heat sheets. Once again, in heat sheets, the last sound is T and the first sound of sheets is sh. But here, if you look at this, he cheats. Once again, the timing of the articulations is very abrupt in cheats. Similarly, might shop versus my chop. In my chop we have this example, in might shop we have this example. However, we have no pairs for voiced counterpart j. But before coming to this, I want to give some more information, and that is that for some speakers, at the end of white we may pronounce this t as a glottal stop, which we'll see a little bit later. So they say that one may say that why shoes, but we cannot do this in choose. In choose we can never pronounce glottal stop instead of this stop sound. So this is another reason how these two phrases are different from each other. So we know there is a voiced version of this affricate. This is voiceless cha, but this is j, which is a voiced. But we have no counterpart, or we have no pair for this, and the reason is that there are no words which start with this sound j. We know there is no word in English actually this, because this sound only appear usually in the middle of the sound. So and it is why, because this is also a digraph sound, a combination of d and y. We have some other symbols which are used for ch and j in other books, and these are this one for this sound. Let me write again, and this one for this. And the reason, let me write here, the reason why these two sounds are sometimes written in this way, that some when usually when we consider these two words, these two symbols, or these two sounds just as an individual sound, so therefore some books use these symbols. single unit by using a single letter to transcribe them. However, when we wish to make perfectly clear that we are writing an affricate and not a consonant cluster, like for example in white shoes, so this is actually white shoes, it is actually appearing as a consonant cluster, and in consonant cluster each consonant is pronounced individually. White shoes. So when we are perfectly clear that we are not writing a consonant cluster but but an affricate, like simply like ch or simply like j. So for this we use a ligature symbol, and ligature symbol is like this, and it is used to tie two symbols together, means that these two symbols are actually sounding as one consonant. So in IPA we use this ligature symbol, and when we have this ligature symbol add two symbols, so this ligature symbols actually tie together two symbols, and now it means that it is an purely an affricate. It is an individual sound, it is not a consonant cluster. So so in the phonetic transcription of white shoes we shall transcribe write it like this for white shoes we write in this way, but when we say why choose, in why choose we shall transcribe it in this way, putting ligature and this. Now we have glottal stop. So in chapter 1 we discuss these two examples, flee east and fleeced. So we discussed that those words which begin with an initial vowel sounds, so sometimes a glottal stop come before that vowel sound. So usually we transcribe fleeced as like fleeced, but we transcribe this fleeced sometimes like this, putting the glottal stop before that vowel sound east. However, uh, the glottal stop the status of glottal stop as a consonant uh, or as a consonant phoneme in English is sometimes questionable because its distribution is limited, and the reason is that it does not occur at many positions. Like we have, for example, if we discuss about this sound k, so it can occur at the beginning like cab, it can occur at the end like neck, it can occur even between a word like, for example, buckle. On the other hand, glottal stop has not such distribution, so therefore sometimes some phoneticians do not consider it as a pure consonant or as a regular consonant or as a regular phoneme in English. Usually a glottal stop occurs at the beginning of words before vowels in American English, as we have just discussed the example of east. So instead of saying east, so people say like this, east. So usually at the beginning of words it occur only in American English. However, like east versus yeast, so yeast, uh, east, but yeast. All right. Then in London Cockney accent, glottal stop appears also between vowels in the words. For example, burden. So they pronounce it like bah. R is usually not pronounced at the end, and instead of saying bahan, they say like bahan. So in Cockney accent, glottal stop may appear uh, between two vowels. As you can see, in button we have this this vowel and this vowel, and between them we have a glottal stop, where other dialects have a variant of T. So in some more dialects there is an other version of T, and we'll discuss it as well. And in American casual speech, the final T sometimes also pronounced or sometimes also glottalized, and it is also pronounced as glottal stop, or more usually pronounced with simultaneous glottal stop. So what does it mean? That it is not usually because the final T in words is glottalized, so the T is not actually skipped totally, or it is not replaced by at all by the glottal stop, but it is glottalized. When it is glottalized, so now it is not completely th, and it is not completely a glottal stop. So now we write it in this way, like by putting ligature, which means that there are two consonant sounds but which are bind close together, so like cat, cat. So I am unable to pronounce that, but usually it happens that T is glottalized, so we put it in ligature and we transcribe like ba, like this. So this is the phonetic transcription, in which we also put some such small symbols and well, which we usually call diacritics as well. Now we have this sound which is actually approximant. As a letter we called it W, but it is just like wo, in which the sides of the lips meet together. So there is also a minor issue related with that symbol as well. Sometimes it is transcribed like this upside down version. And why is that so? In most forms of British and American English, when we have this word like which, so it does not contrast with this which, so both are the same. However, for some speakers, the pair of words such as this, and these three pairs actually contrast with each other, and they say that the first consonant of each of these pairs of words sounds little like hitch, which, and not why but why, whether but whether. So they usually add, you can say, a little bit at the beginning of this W sound. So what happens due to this this sound, which is usually a voice sound, it becomes voiceless, and therefore instead of writing it like in this way, we write it in an upside down order. So actually we now we don't need to transcribe this version in this way. IPA provides a natural symbol, a contrastive symbol that can be used to this contrastive sound. So if someone say, instead of saying which, if someone says like which, so we shall pronounce it like, or transcribe it like this. But if someone say which, so we say like this, which. We shall also put the ligature as well, because the two sounds are seems to be closely tied together. So this is the reference for this video, and in the beginning I also paste the picture of the book as well, A Course in Phonetics, and it is its latest edition. So this is the book we are following, and this is the main source for this lecture as well. So you can download this book, and I recommend that please download this book and read this book as well. And then if you have any misunderstanding, you can watch my video, Otherwise I think the book will suffice as well. So the second thing is that the all sounds which we have discussed, if you have problem in the production of any sound, so let me show you some videos which I have uploaded on my channel. So if you go to my channel, if you click on the channel link, channel icon, so this interface will open in front of you, and if you go to home and further down here you will find vowels, consonant and diphthong pronunciation. And if you have confusion in consonant pronunciation or English vowels or diphthongs, so if you click on any one of these, a model will tell you how to pronounce all these sounds.